Alrighty, looks like we finally got it under control, perhaps. Let me know in the comments if you're getting this. Appreciate all that are watching. Thanks for tuning in. We'll try to do this more regularly now. Maybe like regular days, like I'm thinking Tuesday and Friday. Kind of do a weekly update to start the week and end the week. That works for everybody. All right, is this working out? All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll probably keep these to about 45 minutes to an hour or so. And we'll get to whatever y'all want to talk about. I assume altcoins. So I know most of my YouTube now is covered just for Chainlink videos. So this is kind of why I'm going to start live streaming more so we can do more altcoin requests. The the analytics on YouTube recommend I kind of stick to Chainlink to grow the channel. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And we'll do live streams to help promote, other content. So anything you want to talk about, we'll look at like Tuesday and Fridays. Okay. I'll set these to public so you can watch these back over the weekend or during the week. So if you don't catch the live stream or you can't catch the live stream, you're, working, that's fine. You can just watch these back at any time. And, you can leave me a request in our, on X. You can leave me a request on our Telegram. You can join that for free. And then we'll try to get to those. So I can make a list and we can cover those on the live streams and you can watch it back at your leisure. That works out good. Good. Okay. So thanks for joining here, and we'll try to keep these times consistent as well. Around this time each stream. Okay. So just feel free to type anything in the chat. I'll try to get to all the comments within the allotted time. And anything else you want to talk about? All right. So let's get to it. All right. Do we have any requests yet? I think I see an Ondo in there. So we'll get to that. Might have to, I get insane dry mouth as I'm talking. So if you see me take a break or take a sip, bear with me. All right. Ondo. If you have a specific coin, obviously let me know the coin, but if you have a specific exchange you want me to look at, some exchanges have more data than others, you need to list the exchange too, right? Otherwise I'll just pick one, and if it doesn't have the data that you have, too bad. Okay, so we'll look at Ondo. All right, and if you're wondering, if you haven't really watched my channel in a while, or ever, these color codings are relatively up to date. I try to keep them up to date as much, but we track a couple hundred coins, so they can't always be exactly updated. But generally speaking, the blue is the strongest charts. Green is strong. You can think of it like a grading scale. A, B, C is orange. See what else we have. Red is C or D. Sometimes you want that, right? Like tether dominance, we want that red, right? That means more money coming in. And then the worst charts are pink. We try not to have too many of those. Hopefully you don't have a bunch of those. So just a side note on that. Okay, so really Ondo here on the weekly scale, right? We zoomed out. We want to start here. Fibonacci, let's adjust this a little bit. We're close. Like most of my Fibonacci's, I'm just going to do quick. They're not going to be like precision accurate, but they'll be close. See, we need to adjust a little bit there. Okay, so from our Fibonacci extension level here, assuming the low is in, our 1618 is up 463 there. A little bit of tall of an ask for the rest of this cycle, but maybe not, right? 5x from here. Not too bad. But for the most part, I mean, basically all of 2025, we've gone just chop range bound, right? So we're trying to get some lift off here. Weekly is not going to really help us much because if we haven't done anything in, really anything, the longer that has taken, right? Resistance every time we get to this zone, and we might as well extend that out, right? till the end of the year. I'm still in the boat where I think we'll peak relatively close this year. We could spill into next year, giving the timing or how long Bitcoin drags its feet. But here's the end of the year, right? This box. I obviously Ondo will have a more significant move. Like if you want to see these moves again, it's probably going to take something above the 0.5 fib is generally speaking where most coins can start to really hook in momentum. So we're looking at least a weekly close above there before we get too excited. But you can see we've made a high, and even though that's technically a higher high, more or less, this you could just argue this as a double resistance so far. This is not a double top. Remember, double tops would only confirm if we take out this low. A lot of people get that wrong. So that's not a double top. This is just resist. It's just knocking on the door. Sooner or later, it's probably gonna open, right? We'll get through there. But if we could flip this zone around $1, right? 105 to 110. If we could flip that to support instead of resistance, well, obviously that's going to be a significant shift in the momentum here. Now we could be looking at a low here, our initial high, higher low, right? Always like the doors open very quickly for Ondo as soon as we can like start to close above 110. Until then, it's just like it just you gotta you're in the waiting room. 110 is kind of the alert. If you want to like, you can right click that, add an alert. Right there, we should do it. We'll do it here. We'll do it live. 110 Ondo, and everything starts to go its way. If we go into the shorter time frame real quick, right, you can see it's battling a lot of stuff right now. Look at all these moving averages, and the 200, the pink line, 200 EMA is sideways. Wherever your 200 is going, that's your trend. If your 200 is going sideways, you're just going in circles, right? You're not doing anything, and we know that, right? We looked at that on the weekly, right? We've done not much all of 2025, but kind of spin the tires. And, we could look for maybe a subtle hint of, traction gaining if we could just like start to climb above that line. But more importantly, there's our weekly resistance zone right there. Okay. So let's watch for that. 110 though is going to be kind of the pivot point for Ondo. All right. If I'm quiet for a minute and I'm like looking over this way, I'm reading the chat. So I have two like 32-inch monitors, so I have to like really pivot. They're on like big cantilevers here, so apologies if it looks weird. All right, sometimes I have to scroll up and down. You never want to sell or buy anything based on emotion. I see someone that wonders if they should sell and buy back later. That's your mind telling you that, right? That's not your chart. You have to look at the charts, right? You need to trade much like a robot as possible. Yeah, I know like over in the UK and Europe, right? It's better times than the US right now. I get it. I can't please everybody. But I think this time works well for me. And I think I can do this more consistently, so I think we'll probably stick to this for the time being. Maybe do some adjustments here and there, but okay, we got another request. All right, so let's look at this from the weekly. We'll start off on the daily. Been pretty choppy later the past few months, right? Downtrend overall after, making our 2024 seasonality high, right? 2024 was a decent year, and March of 2024 was really like the last time majority of altcoin holders were really happy. I think we could all agree with that, right? Back in this area. We tried again here. Now this is a double top, right? Because we came back down and took out these lows. So this was a double top. And that's probably why you're seeing a lot of the momentum kind of being let out over the past few months. That just like represents, it's unable to gain traction, gain momentum, right? So as of right now on the daily chart, right, we're going the wrong direction, yeah? the moving averages are sorted out least to great, but you know, greatest to least, right? You want that opposite. So if we invert the chart, right, that looks really good, right? And sadly, we have the opposite. And here's this brick shit red color is is the 600 EMA. So that's your major moving average on the daily, 600-day moving average. That's a big one. We got to get back above there before we can even think about, you know, being, you know, starting to be bullish here. So if we look at this spot, right, you can see, well, now maybe we're just kind of trying to do like an island bottom or a double bottom. And remember, this isn't a double bottom. This is just a double retest until we put in a new high. Really, this one would be great, 450, but that's kind of a tall ask, yeah. That's 45% till we get up there. If we can really just start to, you know, take out all these moving averages, get back above 375, 20% move, that gets us obviously going back the right way where we want to go. So we need to hope that this holds. And if so, then we can start to pick up the pieces and look for extension levels. All right, let's go out and see how the weekly looks. So the macro just got breached on the 100 week, this blue line. But I guess if you want a silver lining here, I mean, where did we hold last time? Right as we breached the 100 week, we saw some relief. It was a lower high, but look at where we are now. We're pretty similar spot, yeah. Moving averages are also pretty much the same. EMA 8 was just starting to come down to the bottom here, right? We're seeing the red line, same thing. So we're looking for maybe a higher low here, and then, you know, seeing some relief. We got a 13% move that week. We'll see if we can do that again maybe this week or next, right? Doesn't have to do exact. But if we look at the macro trend, right, this is what I would call a trendless coin, a trendless chart, right? You know, coin being different, right? It's just been chopping, right? It's going sideways from a, you know, broad enough perspective, right? We're just trapped from our really our big initial move. And that, I would call that a big move, right? That was pretty substantial. Just a 17x, right? I think that's pretty good. And sometimes after those moves, you just kind of go in circles, right? You did your power play, and it just takes a long time to build a new base before hopefully finishing at least back at range highs, if not, you know, breaking up a little bit more. Let's see where that might go. So if we do a fib extension here, we can see roughly what we're looking at. And from current prices, we're down a little bit, right? That's a 6x. Still possible, right? Certainly with, you know, if we could break out of this. How long have we been here, right? Guess we'll just go there. 576 days, 570 days, 81 weeks. Pretty wild, right? So that's a hell of a long base. And when you just make those explosive moves, sometimes that can happen. So it's not anything wrong necessarily. I know you probably think so. If you're heavily invested in this, you want some payback, but that's just kind of the name of the game when you get this. So your 100 week is flat. Most moving averages have been pretty flat. You've been kind of just spinning your tires all cycle here, at least for the past since 2025, right? So we just got to look for the anomaly. What are we going to do? We got to take out a high. We haven't done that really since back here when we had some. Last time you were probably smiling at your chart. So if we can take out, you know, the 425, 450 range, right? That's going to be the spot where we kind of hook in, and here we go. Hopefully this holds and we can do another relief here. So from the low, we had a nice move up, about 60%. If we did that again, obviously it's going to take us back to about the same spot, but should put us into highs not seen really since the second month of 2025. All right. Injective, I'll do Injective, and we'll do that next. So obviously, if you're watching these streams back in the future, you can just kind of maybe scroll through the chat or just hop around and find your coin. I know if you like have neither of these coins that I've talked about for the past 15 minutes, you probably don't care and you probably left. Or, you know, just in the future, you can just scroll back and forth to see what we're looking at next. I'll try to keep these coins centered kind of on the right here so you can know which one we're looking at any given moment there. Okay, so let's go to Injective now. I think I have just saw it. All right, Injective, one of probably the best performer in 2023. I think there's like the strongest altcoin, if not like one of the top. 2023 was great. 2021 did pretty good as well. And you know, since that, you know, amazing move higher in, you know, about a year, 4,500% is pretty strong. As of now, let's remove some of this so we can kind of backtrack. I just kind of try to keep track of everything here. So we've pivoted from where our moon cycle went here, where we lifted off, and now we did a full retrace back to there. We're trying to get above and hold this 200 week, the pink line there, as support. We're not doing a super stellar job of it, right? As of last week, we closed with a bar candle, really like a shaven head down at the bottom. So shaven head is like when you get, you know, no wick, little to no wick right there. That just means like you're getting sells right into the damn close, which is normally a sign of momentum in that direction. So we've got some work to do here. So you can see there's no more moving averages down here to look at, right? We have nothing to really go on. I think like if you're gonna be in the trend line, you know, group, you kind of gotta, it's kind of do or die here. I'm not a fan of diagonal trend lines, as anyone who's watched any of my videos knows. They just show the direction of a trend. It's literally in the name, trend line. It's not support and resistance like many people look at that. Horizontal support and resistance is much more indicative of what's going on. I mean, look at this, right? Support, resistance, trying to flip back to support. Look at that zone. I like zones, right? We're there now. It's got to hold up here, or we're struggling here, right? I mean, where else are you going to target here? The one-time low back here. You're going to hang your hat on that thin area. In my book, based on this chart, right? Not necessarily my opinion, but look at the chart here. It's got a fight here, and not only that, but then we have another zone up here. So we are swimming against the stream here. Now everything does clear up big time if Injective can overcome this. I mean, all of 2025. It has not seen the likes of, you know, $16, $17. But again, previous low support, flip to new resistance, 2024 support, 2025 resistance. So where do you think Injective might start to gain momentum? You got it, right above here. And that would clear all moving averages as well. So we're going in the right direction. Low, higher low, higher low. High, higher high. We're doing it. And it should break. But when you're battling the 200 week, you're going into the fight blind. Anything could happen here. All right, so we got some work to do. We can worry about extensions at a future live stream. You don't need to worry about, you know, $60, $100 if you're battling 12, okay? But hey, if we're above 16, then you know full tilt. We're ready to go, and we'll talk about all the good stuff then. We're in a look at the downtrend, right? Since 2024, lower high. So I once held a shit ton of Injective, but I kind of got out of it right in this area after it started looking weak. I wish, obviously, we all wish we would have sold the Pico top up here, but it looks so good up here, hard to do. But now I don't hold any of it anymore. Would I be convinced to get some back? Yeah, I mean, one of the strongest coins you don't want to be fading. in historical times. Now, 2021, 2023, it was like kind of the king of alts and could come back, sure. But let's prove it first. Get above $16, $17, and then maybe we'll look at giving him some credit. All right. All right, that's Injective, HNT. All right, so last time we looked at this was a orange chart. I don't really like looking at perpetuals, but here we are. If you're ever wondering like what that .p means, it's like perpetual futures, it's contracts. So it's not all, it's usually pretty accurate on price, but volumes and stuff like that can get really kind of skewed, but here we are. All right, so from the weekly, obviously similar vibes, and a lot of altcoins you're going to see like catching these kind of just everlasting downtrends seemingly. Double top up here, right? Remember, double tops confirm after you take out the prior low. We did that right here. That's where that double top confirmed. So obviously that's the spot to pivot back above. We can get back above 950. All goes good again. 618, the 1618 extension there from this move to this move. That gets you back to, you know, kind of all-time highs, at least back from 2022, where the bear market started. But we're, again, in the wrong direction. We're underneath all these moving averages here. So that's obviously weak by definition. We're at range lows that we really haven't seen since the start of the bull run. Trying to see what else we got here. If we, you know, sometimes if you just invert the chart, like you can see something else. Like you can see, like here was our previous kind of support resistance, but if we flip this back normal, right, that seems like a little bit clearer picture there, right? See how just flipping that can kind of be a little bit more eye-opening. So I always recommend inverting charts just to get a more unbiased view. Okay, so you do that by holding down Alt and then I on your keyboard. If you're on your mobile or you're watching this on TV, you're SOL. You might be able to do it on mobile, but I don't know how to do that. But you can easily do it on your keyboard. Alt and I. I for invert, right? Okay, so we're battling this new zone, previous kind of lift off, and you'll see that often a lot in charts too. If you made a, you know, super parabolic move, and once that move retraces, where's it going to retrace to? Inevitably, it's going to go back to where it lifted off, right? Because that's where the majority of holders accumulated before FOMO set in for the majority, right? That makes sense. It should make sense, right? So maybe not initial. When we look how close we got, even that was pretty quick. Like it took only 5 months to kind of almost full retrace there. Get back up again, double top, hit your head again, knock yourself out, and now you're full retrace back to pre-lift off mode. So we should be finding a bottom here, right? If all that makes sense. Start to close, right? Baby steps, just close above the EMA 8, right? Like we did back here, 21. It was all good things, but then you have to focus on like the shorter time frame. You see we put in a lower high. So that's another warning of weakness. You know, a bear dressed in a bull disguise, right? So here's, you always want to look at your high on the left as your new breakout. If you can't do that, you're put on alert. If you're just ignoring the alert, if you're not seeing that. Now, it doesn't mean you had to come down here, but you had to close higher. And the fact that we closed back down is a huge warning, but we were still above the 21 weeks, still good. But then sometimes, you know, play stupid games, get stupid prizes, right? That's the gamble you're taking here. This is where to sell. You always sell at resistance. You don't sell at support. You're buying at support. Most people do this ass backwards. Right? Any kind of professional trader that's been doing it for a long time is always selling at resistance. That's why you get double tops and double bottoms. It's smart money taking profits. Now, why would you do that? It's because your risk-reward ratio is off the charts. Because if you're wrong here, You take profits. If you're wrong and it keeps going higher, you just buy back in above the high. Then you flip long. You're getting out of resistance because you're risking, okay, 25%. So what? If it breaks that high, it's going much higher, right? Like that high. And then you've just turn around and buy that, and you got another 2x. So whatever you missed out on that little 25% move, you can just buy back in. This is why selling at resistance is the right way to do it, and buying at support is the right way to do it, and not FOMO, whatever the hell these kind of moves are. That takes a lot of experience just to, or maybe a lot of losses, maybe both, right? Experience is always the best teacher. But this is where we're at. Now we're back to reality check mode. So are you buying or selling here? Well, if you want this, well, you're probably doing neither at this point. Certainly with something that's not really been trending. You want to have that in context. But like back here, right? Here's a move down again. We saw the low wick kind of match. Okay, we moved up. We made a higher high. Okay, we came back down. You put this zone on here. Right? Like, okay, I'm going to buy if we get close to this zone again. Did you buy it? No, probably not. Why do you think that was front run there? Right? Bullish, because the buyers are not willing to wait to get back down here again. They want a good price, but not that good. They're overly bullish and they're not going to wait that long. That's when you get these kind of crazy moves. Are you doing that here? Maybe. Now, where's your stop loss? It's right below here. So again, this is why you buy support. You're risking 15 to 20% for, let me just get back to range highs this cycle. It's a 3.5x. You're risking 15% to make 250%. Would you take that trade? Right? Does that make sense? All right. Now, the catch is you have to have the damn stop loss, right? Or the in both directions, right? That's what a lot of people miss. Or they think they'll just do it, they'll go back in, right? What's going to happen? Your brain's going to say, no. I think, I feel, right? When you start saying those to yourself and you're trading, right, you're already at a loss. You're going to be losing. Hopefully all this is making sense to someone. Just off on a rant here. Just trying to help everybody, right? If you're new and you haven't seen me before, I doubt you're watching this right now, but I'm a level 1 CMT. I do this full time. I've been doing this for over 5 years now. Every day. So I've made and lost hundreds of thousands of millions in both directions. So experience is the best teacher. You got it. ADA. Pull request. All right, we'll get to that. Let's do ADA. Yeah, if you ever guys want to like say where you're from, that would help me kind of know if everyone's tuning in from the UK or Europe or Germany. That's awesome. Maybe I'll do different times or different streams. Or just not. Okay, Ada, let's keep it moving. Everything's a little green today. All right, Ada's trying to trend up here. You see, if you can make a channel and it's relatively parallel, I'm kind of for it. But you can see, like, we've maybe just started here. Obviously, if it breaches it, I wouldn't put, again, diagonal trend lines, don't put too much weight into that. This Fibonacci is actually from last cycle high to this cycle's low from the bear. It was really like Ada made a new low in the bull run, which is not usually a great sign, but okay, so where do we reverse? Well, look at the swing lows, swing highs, and what's the fib? Remember, the 618 is called the golden level for a reason. Where do people take profit at? The 618, $1.15. Previous lows from right before you started the bear market, right? There's the new high, right? New old support, new resistance. You don't have to overcomplicate it, right? Especially the longer time frame you can get your fibs, so like 2 years, right? 2.5 years. That's great. If you're using a Fibonacci on a 3-hour chart and it spans 3 candles. That's probably not too much weight to that, right? Does that make sense? If you can use a 2-year Fibonacci extension or a retrace versus a 4-hour Fibonacci retracer extension, those are going to be slightly more meaningful, right? So this is a big one. This is and then obviously if you start to get certain key levels being interacted with, like not once or twice, but maybe 3 or 4 times exactly, you want to start paying attention to that. So this is going to be a pretty significant Fibonacci level for ADA for maybe forever, maybe even the bear market too. Maybe we'll come back down all the way down to here or lower, right? Maybe we do full retrace. I don't know. But can ADA make new highs this cycle? I've seen some stupid calls, and I do mean stupid. But I would be overly impressed if ADA can get back to range highs. I know that might, send the pitchfork crew coming for me, but for ADA to do another almost 4x, I don't really see it, right? Because it's not even up that much from the start of the bull run. Or we're going to think we're going to, spend 2 years climbing, and then all of a sudden in the last 2 or 3 months, you're going to do that move again? Even if the perfect alt season comes, I'm thinking range highs. And I've been saying that for probably a year, really, just because ADA hasn't really done anything. This is a great move, right? That was great. So yeah, that was a awesome move. And could it do that again? Yeah, that was what, 280%. Okay. So again, where's the other 280% move go? Is it range highs? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I know some astronomically high prices of people that don't know how to calculate market caps. But we're at the 0.5 fib now, versus where we can start to gain traction, where we tried to hold back here back in December. Now, if that would have held and we were up here now, okay, we can get some stupid predictions, yeah. But not after retracing to the 200 week just a handful of months ago. We're doing what we need to do, but seeing anything more crazy than that is pretty remote. And that was, if we get an alt season in the next couple of months, which I still think is coming, can we get a 4x out of ADA from current prices? Well, yeah, we just saw it right there. So yeah, maybe we crack the $3 again, but that's about it as far as I would say. Based on the charts, right? I'm not just like pulling a rabbit out of a hat here, folks, right? Just look at the charts in front of you and tell me why do you think that's coming again? We don't have that's not coming again. 2021 will never happen again in the history of crypto. Different times. Alt season, sure. That move right there. I'm a big fan of thinking that whatever your coin has done this cycle, it might outperform the best move, but maybe slightly. And again, if we have till 2026, roughly, right? Here it is. So between now, let's say we last exactly till the end of December, right? So we have to go at 4x in the next 18 weeks, 17 weeks, 126 days. We would have to outperform this guy. So that starts like, now. That target's fading. I mean, unless we can maybe kick into January, February, March, that would be great. But I mean, we're triple testing the 200 week. That's not a great sign, right? If you're battling to hold onto the cliff's edge. So we're doing it now. We're back above almost all moving averages, right? If we zoom in here, it looks okay. But we've got to put in some more work. We got to get back up here. We've got to put in a new local high for this cycle. All right. Hopefully that helps ADA. I know a lot of people like ADA. I always tell it how it is. Haven't covered Arrow yet. I can do Arrow. I'll try to, when I get off of this, I'll try to kind of list what I did in order. Probably won't work, but let's go look at it. And I know I won't be able to get to everyone's requests at every live stream. I'm going to try to keep these around an hour so that I keep doing them and I don't do like 3-hour live streams and never want to do another one again. So we'll hopefully you can catch the next one or just put in a request somewhere else. All right, let's look at Arrow. You know, this is like the water planet on Interstellar. Just massive waves, huh? So I think that we haven't looked at this one in a while. So now if we want to look at an extension level here, I mean, what do you think what I'm going to say for the odds for the highs are for the end of cycle? If you guessed right here, then you'd be right. 1, 2, 3. I know that's probably not what you want to hear either. Another 2x. Not terrible, right? Could we get up to $8? I could buy that if alt season hasn't really started yet and we're back to range highs already, right? If we get up here quickly, and I would still give us some time, 6 weeks. If by mid-October we're up here, okay, I could buy us like doing some kind of lunar moon shoot here. But if we're still battling down here, or $1.50, if we haven't broken the 786 by the time alt season's getting ready to start, and I would guess sometime in October, if we're still not above 150, then here's my target, just based on the chart I'm looking at, right? Just the waves in the chart. So if we're going to kind of mimic one of the stronger moves here, right? I would say this is probably the strongest since whatever the hell that was. If we start here and now, that would get us finishing in December 1st. And $4, okay? So if we take this, let's take the start, like I said, mid-October. This would be great. That looks pretty good, right? $4? I don't think you could be upset with a 4x from here on anything, really. If anything, you have 4x's from here. I think that's pretty solid. I think there's still some 10, 20x's out there. We just have no idea what it's going to be, right? Probably something with the low market cap. So we could still mess around with most coins for another 4 to 6 weeks. But then you've got to be near range highs if you're going to put in some kind of stellar move. So looking at the bars pattern from that, we just took this from here. So even if we do nothing for 6 weeks, and then we get 2 or 3 weeks of a bull pump to start us off an alt season, flips this area to support, like you see here. Yeah, we could do like another 2x in the final month even. And I think many coins will do that if we in fact get some dominance, low 50s on Bitcoin dominance. And I think Bitcoin dominance is actually gearing up for a bounce here to go higher, for what it's worth. I think Bitcoin dominance has got bullish divergence all over it. So we looked at that in our Telegram group this morning. Okay, so that's Arrow. Hopefully that helps you out there. Ada we just did. Let's look at LCX. Next one. I'm just trying to go down the list. You can read up to the chat and see where I'm at, hopefully. Right one. Yep. All right. Again, pretty untrendy, right? I don't mean popular. We're looking at it's been, I guess it has been an uptrend since the start of the bull run, right? Because we have a low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Okay. But we would like to see it a little bit more aggressive, right? Or like this low have been kind of here. We would have made a new high. And again, almost every coin that we've looked at so far has had this double top. Even though that's not really a double top because we haven't taken out this low yet. So I would argue that we're just ping-ponging back and forth between these levels. So we got to break, obviously, the high. Right? Here's the lows. And you drag this over. Look, you can see the high wicks back here. Low wicks now. Okay, so that's good. We have that to go off of. We'd like to have held these highs. Again, that was really the initial bull market kickstart. So from the low in September 2023, let's just see what it's done. So 11x, 1,000%. That's nice. So it can move when it needs to. But you're going to run out of time doing that because I don't think we just really have the time to do that again. So if we start right now, like this week, there's where we get. But even then, like, look, that still spills into January. So that's starting really this week, which I don't think alts are going to start this week. And if we start, you know, let's say, mid-October, roughly, and we're still at the same level, and we're going to top out in, you know, late December, that, you know, I mean, we might still be able to knock on the door of $1. Okay. Let's look at, how about the Fibonacci extension? Click the right one, bud. Okay, the 1618. I mean, that's, hey, that's right at $1 again. So it just depends on when alts start. Is this going to kick it into high gear like it can do, or is it going to not? Obviously, right? It seemingly comes out of nowhere, right? Just that would be terrific. That would get us back above cycle highs. That'd still be a pretty nice move from current prices if we could, you know, just knock on the door here. It's, you know, 6x perhaps still, the 1618 there. But it's all going to be dependent on how it lifts off when altcoins lift off. So we probably still have a little bit of time, but things can change quickly during this phase. You can see also my kind of initial swing lows, swing highs here, right, when you were looking at that. So maybe 24, 25 cents will kickstart it. Again, I'd like to see that. If we're over that by mid-October, then, you know, maybe we do get one of those rocket moves. If we're still battling under here come mid-October, then here's my kind of high target around 40 cents. Maybe we push through with the wick and see something like that. Like this guy did. A little bit of a high wick or something, perhaps. All right. Keep it moving. If I skip over your coin or miss it or something, and you think I've skipped it, just, you can type it again. Yeah, influencers have to keep saying alt season, otherwise you stop watching them and they lose money. This is the benefit of having a small channel. I can just say whatever I want with no no cares. Yeah, be careful of following, you know, people with high followers, right? Just use your brain. Why are they saying this? To help me or to help them, right? Solana's a good one. Let's look at Solana. Solana's actually doing pretty well, I think, when I looked at right just before stream. The hell is it? Right in front of me, bud. All right, so let's look at Solana. And you can see like the difference in this one versus some of the others we've looked at, right? Nowhere near the 200 week. The 200 week's at $100. It's, you know, a little bit below us. We're above all moving averages. We're really at range highs. How many coins are at their 2024 March highs? You don't have to overcomplicate this, right? Some are. Some are not even remotely close to that, right? Strength. So if you're ever wondering, like, what's the strongest coin? If you don't want to look at the chart, just they almost should make an index for that called relative strength index. 60. Solana's at 60. Where's anything else, right? I mean, you can go look at ETH. It's probably pretty high, right? Solana. But let's say one of those. Let's look at ADA. ADA's not a great example either. ADA's actually doing well as of late, but what was struggling right now? Injective, right? Below 50 in the 40s, right? What else did we just cover? Scrolling down here. I think we covered Tau. Right? You notice if you're under 50, right, you have no momentum. Don't even think about it. It's like you've skipped the gym for a month and a half. You have no more muscle. Trying to think of other things that we've looked at. Just kind of scrolling through here. But that's literally why this index is made, right? It's to show the strength comparative to the rest of the market. So if you're in, some of your coins are on the weekly at 60 and you have another coin at 20, you're probably in the wrong coin at the 20, right? If majority of strength, especially the blue chips, like, you can just go look at Bitcoin. Your coin would hopefully be stronger than Bitcoin strength. Let's go look at Link. Let's go look at our boy Link. Is it doing any well? Is it strong? Yeah, Link ain't skipping the damn gem. ETH, we're not skipping. Solana, no well. Whatever that word was. Grammar. But that's, check that, right? You don't have to overcomplicate all this. Or be like, oh, I wonder if things are going well. They have, it's like probably the most well-known indicator there is, right? RSI. Just a lot of people use it incorrectly, but 1, 2, we're working on 5 consecutive weeks above the EMA 8. What's not to like here? This looks fantastic. So we want to keep that going. The Solana extension, my target from 2023 was around $500 Solana. 2023, when people were, in 2024, people were calling for like $2,000 Solanas. So $500, is that possible now? Well, I mean, if there's ever a candidate to do it, like this one's not, it's not that much of an ask, yeah. I mean, just to get to 500, we're looking at 150%. Looking at just not even a 3x from here to get to the 1618. Certainly that's possible. Look at the structure: a low, a high, higher low, higher high. We're on a weekly uptrend since the lows in March. But same boat that I've been mentioning with all these coins, like where you are to, start out October is going to be kind of pivotal on how you're going to finish. Right? You can't be betting on last place in a marathon if it's mile 25. Probably not going to work. But like if you're in position, you're in the top 10, you're doing well, and it's mile 25, it's anyone's game, right? You could do very well. You might not, but you could, right? Look at it like that. I like stupid analogies. So Solana looks very good. Strong uptrend on the weekly. Nothing to dislike here. Then we can go back. I mean, look at the MFI. Holy hell. MFI is like the RSI, strength, but it also includes volume. You want these high, right? That looks really good. I don't know of any other coin that's at 85, 86 on the MFI weekly. That's very impressive. So Solana it should really be like a blue chart. I think I might even change that. It's damn good. All right, so really looking strong. What else we got? I got a little bit longer than I got to runs, but I'll do a little bit longer because I started a little late. I'm going to try to do these daily, not daily, you wish. Tuesday and Friday. I would do them daily if I started getting 100 people in here. If you could spread the word and we actually get up to 100, I'll probably start doing them daily. If I help enough people, but I just don't have enough. I know the timing's probably off. Maybe I'll try one on the weekends. We'll see how I get. But if I can ever get like consecutive, or sustainable 100 people on average throughout these streams, I have no problem doing these daily. But for now, we'll try to do them consistently on Tuesdays and Fridays to kind of give you a recap of the weekend, starting off the week, what we're going to watch, and then to wrap up the week going into the weekly close. So Tuesdays and Fridays, at least try to do that the rest of the bull run from now to the end of the year. Do I still think Chainlink can go to $1.1 million? XLM, we'll do XLM. All right, weekly. Don't we all wish those would come back again? Good God. That was fun times, huh? That was when XRP exploded too, right? No surprise. 700% in 2 weeks. Yep, we would like those back. This is actually looking pretty good structurally, right? It's back to kind of range highs. Here's our resistance zone, right? We tagged it again after that move. Anytime you get those big pumps like that, you gotta be aggressively taking profits. Like, those are not sustainable. You're building a straight wall. That's not very strong. You got to be exiting on 173% weekly pumps and not thinking that it's going to continue forever, right? You might have gone up a little bit longer, but you have to take something off the table here, right? So don't make that mistake again. If you get these tall bars, even this one, 87% in a week, if you're not taking something, that's just greed. You're like doubling in 1 week. Do you know how lucrative that is to people in the stock market? People have been trading, silver, or, well, that's probably a bad example this day and age, but silver's doing very well now, but you know what I mean? Like, people wait years to get like a 2x in some stocks or index funds. Good God. You're doing that in a week? But look at our high time frame going back to 2018, range highs, similar to XRP, right? Just massive streaks. This is like the interstellar planet, right? These massive tidal waves come every randomly. Almost like the time loop too. You just have to wait 7 years for every 5 minutes. 5-minute pump, wait 7 years to get back there. So we'll see again where October is. I mean, I like the structure here. The move down, it didn't full retrace. That's good. Kind of held the baseline here, back up. The 21 week is likely kind of like the pivot point here, right? We don't want to let too much wind out. We're just kind of building. Let's see here. Range highs. So this zone obviously has got to hold. We obviously don't want to go down to 30 cents, but that's not too bad, right? We're looking at maybe another 15%. So if you're in, you're wanting to get more of this, like, this is the spot to do it. Maybe you put a tight stop loss just in case it goes lower. There's the 21 week. Buying at the 21 week is usually a good spot. And as long as you're willing to have a stop loss, if you're right there like this, you could have bought right here. Stop loss. Yeah, you might have got stopped out here, but I mean, look at how much lower it went. Could be the same thing. We're either going to hold here or maybe come back down to the 100 again, right, where we reversed again. Right, we don't know. But I always like the odds of the 21 holding, especially towards the end of a bull cycle, especially with, alt season looming. I think that's a pretty good spot. You're down. You've taken, it's 30% on sale right now, right? You can always look at things from a different perspective. You can see the Fibonacci extension level way the hell up there. I don't know if we have the stones to do that. Another 10 over 10x from here. I mean, I guess it's possible. We'll see what this did. Yeah, I mean, look at it. It's right there in front of you. Let's see what that looks like. I mean, that gets you knocking on $2. Even if we kind of, let's see where we're at. We're kind of running out of time there, right? Kind of got to go pretty quick. That would still take us into February. So unlikely, unless, again, if October rolls around and we're 70, 80 cents, okay, we know where we could possibly go. But if we're still battling down here, or we're under the 786, we're still under 50 cents come mid-October, then that's about what I think of that possibility. All right. My opinion on memes, like whiff. Well, memes to me, and I hold some memes. My two biggest holding memes are the two at the top of my list here. And I've been talking about these for at least a year. So Giga's not done quite as good, at least lately, than SPX. But memes you hold for the end of cycle. If you're trying to squeeze everything out of it on a daily basis or weekly basis. You're waiting on it to go up week over week or month over month, right? That's not where you hold memes. You buy on these kind of moves, right? And many memes will still do that as long as the top isn't in, right? You never say 100% anything, but I'm still very confident that we're going to get some alts highly moving in an alt season, and that's when you hold memes for alt season, towards the end of alt season especially. So I think most of them will do very well, with included. I think probably the lower the market cap, the better. I don't think Doge is going to do spectacular. It might maybe at 2x's. But, lower market cap coins, like right now, SPX is over $1 billion market cap. And Giga is at 100 million market cap. You could add $1 billion in 24 hours to anything. If Elon tweets about Giga, what do you think that's going to do? Or SPX, right? Anything, any meme, right? Pepe, whiff. With the lower the market cap, the crazier potential it could be, right? Even at $1 billion, that's not that much, right? Many memes can get to 4 or 5 billion relatively easy. You have to remember Shiba Inu and Doge, those added billions in the final months. I think Doge was like 40 billion. Shiba was like 10 to 20 billion in the final couple of months here. Shiba Inu got to 40 billion market cap. Doge got to almost 90 billion. If you didn't know that, it's like kind of, those are with B's, not millions, right? Right? Those are insane numbers. All right. Yeah, I anticipate all-time high for Chainlink, for sure here. The chart looks good. It's not just like hopes and dreams here, right? And if you don't know, like I'm doing daily Chainlink updates on YouTube every day. Have been for weeks now, so check those out. But for Chainlink on the weekly, right? Like it's at cycle highs. It's above all. There's not many charts that look better than this one, right? You don't have to take my word for it. Just open your eyes. Look at it, right? It's very likely you're going to come back to all-time highs, if not then some. The 1618 from this move, I think, if I remember right, it's like $60-something. And just take a look at it real quick, then I'll wrap this up, and we'll get to another live stream on Friday. Yeah, so we're up in this area. That's kind of my target. At least my expectation is, we could put a zone around that between, highs here and this. I think almost assuredly we're going to do that. There's no reason to think we wouldn't. The way Chainlink has been doing, looking at the macro chart here, the monthly has the tightest Bollinger Bands in history for Chainlink. It's been on definitive uptrend all cycle. Not even not many coins have done that. Everything just looks spectacular here. We just got the 3-day golden cross, which I put that video out this morning. Everything's going well for Chainlink. So yeah, cycle highs. We haven't even closed a monthly candle above $40 ever. I think that's going to be loading soon, and then we could be looking at some kind of a throw over here into those the 1618 extension, or maybe even higher, depending on how it goes over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Right, look at your coins. Come from now, I wouldn't judge a whole lot from now until October. Right, there's gonna be a lot of chop probably, but once we start getting into Q4, your coins need to be at range highs, at cycle highs. They don't need to be down, battling the 200 week in 6 weeks from now. That would not be the good bet, in my opinion. All right, so I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching this long. If you have, again, we'll do our next one on Friday with daily Chainlink updates in YouTube. And if you want, daily content help, right? I am active daily. It's just in our Telegram group. You can join the free one, which I'm less active in, or the paid one, which I try to pass on all my knowledge from hundreds of hours of study. The past 8 years I've been in crypto every day. I do this full time. I try to pass on that knowledge to you in that channel, and I'm in there every day on a daily basis, and you can ask whatever you want there. So check that out. Those should all be linked below, or send me a message somewhere. I'll find it. And I'll see you on the next one. See you Friday. Chainlink out.